proceed with closing arguments for the prosecution.
Yes, Your Honor.
And for defense, you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Mbad, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honors. May it please the court. The defendant is charged with aiding and abetting first-degree murder. As the government, we had the burden to prove to you, beyond a reasonable doubt, that on or between March 17 and November 26, 2017, in Cassia County, Burley, Idaho, the defendant had hired another person with the intent to assist in the willful, deliberate, and premeditated murder of Declan O'Malley. In Your Honors, we have more than met that burden. When the mother had died, the family estate became a source of tension between the O'Malley siblings. Now, Jesse was named an executor of this estate, but that changed on March 17, 2017. Change that went to Declan instead. Multiple witnesses and Jesse himself told you today that they were angered by this. So angered, but he told Declan he would regret stealing his rightful position. But the breaking point came when Declan refused to sell the farm which he valued the most. Jesse didn't care about this farm at all. He wanted to sell it and get the money. So he would stop at nothing, even if it meant his brother's life, to get it. So over the course of the 8 months, Jesse O'Malley had planned the murder of Declan O'Malley with Mr. Garcia. Detective Francis Magumbo had told you today that they created a fake art company, La Finest, and funneled payments to cryptocurrency. Now, Mr. Rages earlier today had told you, how could someone, Jesse O'Malley, who was in huge debt at the time, pay for a murder? The answer is simple, and the records show it. Now, 2 payments were made before Declan's murder, totaling up to $25,000. And Jesse himself admitted to you that they received $30,000 in life insurance, and used that $30,000 to pay $25,000 to Mr. Garcia. Now that was a down payment. After these 2 payments, well, the plan continued. On the night of November 25, 2017, you heard how Jesse entered Declan's home and set the scene. He sedated Declan and left an open window. As part of the plan, Mystic arrived a few hours later and armed and ready. Now, she had shot Declan in the shoulder and pushed him out the window. You heard from Mr. Garcia how Jesse provided the weapon, instructions, and access to Declan's home that night. But killing Declan wasn't enough. No. Jesse had to bury the same weapon that was used to kill his brother, the very property Declan loved the most, the O'Malley property. Now, we know that Jesse was the only person that knew where Mystic threw the gun, and the only possible person to have moved it. The farm's importance to Declan, Jesse's resentment, and the murder weapon in that very ground. It's too perfect to be a coincidence, too deliberate and too calculated. Exactly like him. Now, afterwards, some of the O'Malley property was sold and he was able to get that money to pay for the murder. The defense had argued that Mystic had lies, but she told you. She told you the truth. And what Mr. O'Malley did today will show you how calm he was, collected and ready, because he planned his answers. He planned his story, and he planned the murder of his own brother. This was not an accident, not a moment of rage. This was premeditated. And at the beginning of this trial, we told you that greed is the starting point. You saw where it led to a motive, a murder, and Jesse O'Malley. We ask you to look at the evidence, and we ask you to return the only just verdict. Jesse O'Malley is guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mbad. Mr. Carville.
Your Honor, before I proceed, as we address some preliminary matters, may I retrieve exhibits number 7 and 9, which have been previously admitted into evidence?
You may.
May I proceed?
Yes.
May it please the court, your honors, counsel, and members of the jury. Mrs. Garcia killed Declan O'Malley, and she acted alone. That's the simple, undeniable fact. Members of the jury, this whole trial, she tried to manipulate and deceive you, creating this facade in an attempt to confuse you and shift blame. But don't be fooled. It's no coincidence that Mrs. Garcia is a professional artist, because in this courtroom, she tried painting her greatest work yet, a masterpiece of lies. Now, the state wants you to believe that Jess was the mastermind behind it all, but let's look at the facts. There's no evidence, there's no messages, and there's no money linking Jess to any crime. All that remains is Mystic Garcia's word. And in this courtroom, Mystic's word is the most unreliable evidence of all. Let's start with Mystic Garcia. She's a confessed killer, no one disputes that. When she found out that that meant life in prison and no way out, she did what liars do best. She adapted. She twisted facts, shifted blame, and filled her story with lies and half-truths. Now, the state claims that Jesse's motive was resentment, but the only one with resentment was Mystic Garcia. Mystic Garcia was the one who had years of dislike towards Declan, the one who Declan spread rumors about, the one whose spouse Declan humiliated, the one who Declan accused of stealing from the cash register at the bar, and the one who Declan stiffed of a $2,000 tip during a time she desperately needed the money. And isn't it convenient how a confessed killer suddenly remembers who was behind the murder after years of silence? Members of the jury, don't let Mystic Garcia's words become the truth that convicts an innocent man. Now, the state claims that this fake art company, The Finest Works of the Art, which according to exhibit number 7, is a real art company because it has a certificate of organization, limited liability record. It is a real company, and Detective Okkodu testified that through this real company, there were 12 payments of $12,500 that landed into Mystic's account. But Okkodu can't tell you who sent that money, and she can't tell you where that money came from. The state claims that Jess was the sender of this money, but the truth is that Jess didn't have the means. Yes, they mentioned a life insurance payout, but that was $30,000, which is nothing compared to the $150,000 Mystic claimed Jess paid her. Yes, they mentioned a $12 million farm, but the truth is that only a portion of that farm was even sold. The same portion where the gun was buried and found. Members of the jury, let me ask you this. If Jesse O'Malley was trying to hide a gun, why would he sell the portion of the farm where the gun was buried? Add to that the portion of the farm was sold significantly after Declan's death. Exhibit number 9 shows that the deposits made into Mystic Garcia's account were made months before and months right after Declan's death, making it impossible to say Jesse had the means to pay Mystic Garcia. Now, the state's job was to prove a murder for hire plan, but where's the evidence? There's no messages, there's no payment evidence tying Jesse to Mystic, there's no proof Jesse even touched the gun, there's no proof of any sedative, and there's no plan except for the one Mystic Garcia invented after securing a deal. The state's burden was to prove intent, but where is it? Jesse O'Malley spoke freely to police, waived Miranda rights, stayed in public at the bar during the murder, and had no money, no benefit, and no silence to hide behind. Meanwhile, Mystic Garcia killed Declan O'Malley, staged the robbery, disposed of the weapon, lied for 6 years, and only remembered a conspiracy after being offered a reduced charge. If someone is telling the truth, they don't need a discount. And if someone is innocent, they don't wait for a deal to talk. Reasonable doubt isn't confusing because it's all over this case. There was doubt in the sedative, doubt in the payments, doubt in Mystic's motives, doubt in Magumbo's investigation, doubt in the podcast pressure, and doubt in the 6-year silence that was suddenly replaced by a perfect accusation. Now, in order to find the defendant Jesse O'Malley guilty of first-degree murder, the state had to have proved to you beyond a reasonable doubt that he aided and abetted Mystic Garcia in intentionally killing Declan O'Malley with malice aforethought. But they haven't done that. They've given you motive without proof, suspicion without evidence, and an opinion without certainty. And when proof is weak, evidence is missing, and their case solely relies on a confessed killer trying to save themselves, that's not justice, that's doubt. And doubt isn't a weakness in our system, it's a strength, because doubt protects the innocent. Members of the jury, don't let Mystic's lies become the truth that convicts an innocent man. Jesse O'Malley already lost his mother and his brother. Don't let him lose his freedom because of another woman's deception. The state's job was to prove to you that Jesse had any involvement in Mystic Garcia's murder, but they have not proven to you beyond a reasonable doubt that he did. Find the defendant, Jesse O'Malley, not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any time remaining for rebuttal?
Yes, of course.
Would you like?
Yes, Your Honor, but can I request a specific time that I have left?
You have 56 seconds remaining.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to proceed.
You may.
Now, you heard how the defense had tried to tempt you to put doubt in our investigations and how you put doubt in our case. However, you also heard how Jesse O'Malley's fingerprints was on the gun, how he moved the gun from the O'Malley farmland, from the dumpster to the O'Malley farmland, and you saw the records and how Detective Gumbo had proven his connection to the finest, which was the shell company used to funnel the payments itself. Yes, Jesse may have not been used to pull the trigger, but he did everything that mattered. He enabled the murder. He paid for the murder. That, under the law, means that he's just as responsible for the murder of Declan O'Malley. And with that, we ask you to only find the just verdict of this case, that Jesse O'Malley is guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. In accordance with Article 11 of the Rules, dispute resolution, at the conclusion of the trial, I have to inquire of each of the teams whether they believe a substantial violation of the rules occurred during trial. You'll be permitted to consult with your coaches as well for the next 2 minutes before determining whether you wish to raise a substantial violation issue. And then if there is, we'll go forward with the dispute procedure for inside the bar and the team dispute form. So we'll give 2 minutes starting now. And I'll ask the timekeeper to keep track of 2 minutes, please.
Your Honor, the defense has no disputes at this time.
Your Honor, the prosecution as well has no disputes at this time.
All right, so since no team wishes to raise any substantial violations that it believed occurred, we will then now go forward and proceed with identifying, getting our score sheet done and completed. And then while the score sheets are being verified, we'll go through a debriefing, as I talked about, 3 minutes each. But before we do that and go through the debriefing, I want to invite everyone present to please give these students a wonderful round of applause. So you will just give us a couple of minutes to finish our score sheets. We'll ask them to come and pick up the score sheets and take them in for tabulation. And while that's being done, we will proceed with the debriefing. So just give us a second to finish our